Yo, what's up, guys? So basically in this video, I'm going to be giving my raw advice on how to start if you would like to be successful or if you want to change your life. This video is basically going to be giving my advice on what you should do because I feel that I was in a very similar position to a lot of you, and I basically found my way out, and I want to help you guys find your way out too. So just a little bit of background about me. I was always a pretty average kid. So I was average in the sports I played. I was average at school. I was average at all these other things. And people would always tell me that in order to be successful, you have to be good at a certain thing. And I would always try to think of something that I was actually good at. And I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of anything that made me special. I couldn't think of any characteristic that would separate me from most people. Right? And that is honestly one of the biggest reasons as to why I didn't want to start something. I was super ambitious, don't get me wrong, but I was lazy. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have drive to do anything because I didn't have a sense of, direction. I didn't really, know what to do. I didn't think there was anything unique about me, or I wasn't unique enough to go and actually start something. Right now, I feel like a lot of people have that belief and they place that belief on themselves. And it honestly is what causes them to, be sitting on their deathbed with all these potentially great ideas or potentially great things that they could have accomplished in their life, but they never did it because they have this limiting belief in their head that they're not physically capable of succeeding, right? And I was the same way. I know exactly how that feels. I always wanted to be successful. I remember whenever I was like 12 years old or something like that, I would always admire all of the entrepreneurs. Like, I'd always be watching Shark Tank with my parents, like watching all these entrepreneurs on TV, like creating their own products and seeing them succeed. And I thought it was awesome. I didn't really know what was going on in terms of, like, I guess the deals that were being made back then. But, I was really interested in that kind of stuff. But, I was so lazy back then. Not really whenever I was 12, because you're 12 years old, like, really doesn't matter. But like middle school, high school, and then beginning of college, like, I was arguably the laziest person I knew. I didn't turn my work in on time. I didn't have any work ethic. I didn't have any drive to actually succeed in school. And honestly, I feel like that's half the reason as to why I started all this, and I'm on the journey that I am now. Is just because I didn't really like school. I don't think school was necessarily hard for me. I just didn't enjoy it at all. I loved hanging out with my friends. I loved, doing all like the school activities. But when it came to like homeworks, tests, quizzes, like all these note-taking, like slideshows, I hated that stuff. It was so boring to me. Like, it wasn't the fact that it was hard. It was just super boring. So I was always lazy when it came to schoolwork. I wasn't the best at anything. And I was just super complacent. You know what I mean? Like, I was super comfortable. I didn't really see a reason or something that was wrong in my life just because I was so blind. I didn't even, acknowledge the fact that I wasn't going anywhere, that, year after year after year, I wasn't changing. And I really started to notice this whenever I started going to the gym, because what would end up happening is, the gym is great. Whenever I started, I made like a lot of newbie gains. As you probably know, if you go to the gym, newbie gains happen to everyone. And I made a lot of progress and I was super addicted. Right, but my diet sucked. So whenever the newbie gains, fell off, I wasn't making any progress. And that was honestly one of the first signs that I noticed that, my life wasn't changing. You know what I mean? And I find it crazy how people can sit here and want to succeed at something, yet they're, in their cubicle for 40 years. They're working the same job for decades. Like, honestly, that scares the shit out of me. And I feel like it should scare the shit out of you too. Because you were put on this earth for a reason. You weren't here to sit in a cubicle for the rest of your life working a corporate job just to end up in your deathbed with maybe like 15 years of life to actually enjoy. Right? Life is simply too short to live that kind of life. If you want to live that life, fine. No worries. All the more power to you. I have no problem with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you have this inner calling, you have this like burning feeling inside of you that you want to be more, that you want to actually go out and do something, actually want to go out and change the world. You can't just sit here and be complacent, because nothing, and I mean nothing, will change. Nothing. You have to take that step. You have to take that leap in order to get to where you want to be. And I know it's scary. I know it sucks and I know it's hard. but you just have to keep pushing. Put your faith in God and the good things will follow. You shouldn't have to worry about anything. You shouldn't have to stress about anything. You don't need all this anxiety because God has everything covered. He knows what you're trying to do. And if you put all of your trust in him, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna be dead on the side of a road. You're not gonna explode. You're not gonna die in the next 5 minutes because the thing you're working on isn't going according to plan, or you've failed so many times that you feel like just giving up. No. No matter how many times you fail, no matter how many times you get knocked down, if you keep getting back up, it is only a matter of time for your success. I used to have this preconceived notion of successes to where, like all these people just got so lucky, you know what I mean? Like there's so much luck involved with being successful, and I really don't want to take the risk because, what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't make it? What if I'm not lucky enough? That is not what it is about. See, the luck comes from the work that you put in. Every time you put in the work, every single day that goes completely unnoticed. That's like putting in a lottery ticket. You're putting in a lottery ticket every single day. And if you put that into perspective of somebody who is dialed, they are grinding every single day on their craft, they're trying to succeed, and they're putting lottery tickets every single day, and you're maybe putting in one every year, who do you think's going to win the lottery? Obviously not you. Now, I will say that luck is definitely, a factor in success, but you create your own luck. You don't just sit here and it magically just happens to you. Maybe that happens to like 1% of people, but you can't even take those into account because that's just an outlier. You create your own success. It's not just snapped into reality and out of thin air. So if you're scared to start, if you feel like you're just so average and you feel like, you're not really good at anything or you're not capable, the first thing you need to do if you want to start or want to succeed is remove all of these limiting beliefs. 95% of people who do not succeed or want to succeed but haven't fail because of all these limiting beliefs they place on themselves. They don't believe that they're capable. If you don't believe you're not capable of something, do you ever think you will be capable of it? No. So why be pessimistic? Why put this limiting belief on yourself if you want to succeed? Because if you do, you're never going to get to that point. You're not even giving yourself a chance to grow at that point. You're kind of just sitting here telling yourself, I'm going to fail. Like there's not even a point in doing it. Of course you're going to fail. Everyone starts as a beginner. No matter what you do, no matter what field you're trying, like if you're trying to succeed in the gym, trying to succeed in life, trying to succeed in business, everyone starts as a humble beginner. But you just think that all these people that you see online that are succeeding just got lucky or they just were naturally gifted. No. All these people that you see online started at square one just like you. The only difference between them and you is that they actually stuck with it. They stuck through all the pain, all the hardship, all the work, all the sweat equity that they put in. And now they're showing off their highlights because they've done everything necessary to succeed. They've put in the hard work. They have made so many sacrifices that you will never see. And that's why it's called the top 1%. It's because only 1% of people are willing to sacrifice, are willing to put it all on the line to succeed and achieve their goals. It's not for everyone. I really want to preface that. This journey is going to suck. It is going to be the hardest thing you have ever done in your life. Especially if you're so used to being complacent or so used to being a consumer or so used to, having all this instant gratification. It is going to be so hard. But I cannot express to you how rewarding it is, how worth it is, no matter what you sacrifice, no matter what you go through. Because on the other side of all that pain, on the other side of all that hard work, is the reward. Like let's say you want to be successful in business and you have to put in all this hard work, all these sacrifices. And now you're a millionaire or now you're financially free. I don't want you to be thinking and like a results-based thinking. I want you to think of the journey. The results are going to come with time. As long as you're willing to put in the work every single day, the rewards will come. The hard work will always, always, always pay off. Every time. So don't doubt yourself, bro. Don't. Don't sit here and place this limiting belief in yourself that you are not capable. Everyone is capable of the same exact things. We are all humans. Doesn't matter if you're smarter or dumber. It really doesn't. We are all meant for something on this earth. We are all created with a purpose, and you need to figure out what that is. Because your life will become 10 times, if not 100 times more fulfilling if you figure out what your purpose is. It may take a couple of years. It may take a couple of months. It may take a couple of days. But just find that purpose, bro. Find it. And then just strive for greatness. Strive to be fulfilled. The reward will not fulfill you. The journey will fulfill you. Because one day when you've looked back and you've already made it, you're going to be like, damn, I wish I could go back to all the struggle, all the hardship, all the things that I used to stress over, because that's when it was fun. That's when it actually meant something. That's when there was actually adrenaline and stress and, pressure in the process. Because now you're just sitting back enjoying the fruits of your labor. You can be complacent if you want to. But I guarantee you every successful person will tell you the same thing. Is that they wish they could go back to when it was hard. They wish they could go back to when it was a struggle, because it's the journey that matters, not the destination. Do not idolize the destination, because you will never be fulfilled. If you hit a certain milestone, like let's say you hit 10K a month, you're going to be like, oh, that's so awesome for a couple days. Be like, I finally achieved the first milestone. What do you think is going to happen in a few days? I want more. I want to get to the next level. I want to get to 20K a month. I'll be happy when I hit 20K a month. I'll be happy when I hit 50K a month. No, you will never be happy if you're always idolizing the outcome or always idolizing the reward or the result. That's not what it's about. It's about the person you become in this process. It's about the journey itself. Always remember that. If you don't, every time you accomplish some feat, you're never going to be fulfilled. I promise you, none of this materialistic stuff will ever fulfill you. Sure, it's nice to go and drive around the SVJ in the middle of Miami, just ripping it, waking up everyone in all of their apartments, whatever. You have this really nice car, and it's some car you've always wanted ever since you were a kid. Of course you're going to enjoy it. Of course it's going to make you happy. But will it fulfill you, though? No, it won't. It really won't. Some people say money buys happiness. Some people say money doesn't buy happiness. I think money does buy happiness to an extent, but it will never fulfill you. It'll make you happy, but happiness is just an emotion, just like sadness. It's not there forever. You could be sad at some time, you could be happy at some time, but it's never going to be there forever. Right? So whenever somebody says money buys happiness, that does not mean fulfillment. True fulfillment comes from finding your purpose, trusting in God, and doing whatever it takes to achieve your goals. That's it. So always keep that in mind, bro. Always. Now, if you want to change your life, just do it, bro. There's never going to be a perfect time. I started in the middle of the most hectic period of my life, and look where I am now. I'm making thousands of dollars per month. I didn't think I was capable. I had all these limiting beliefs on myself. I was the laziest kid I knew. All I would do is scroll on my phone, play video games all day, and do jack shit. And look at me now. I was just some regular kid, some average kid. I just want to be a prime example of what you guys are capable of. Because it really is possible, bro. I promise you, it really is possible. You just have to be brave enough to go take action and follow through every single day, no matter how many times you get knocked down. Just remember that. And like I said, this is not going to be easy. But good things, rewarding things, valuable things do not come from easy or comfortable things. Ever. You will never be successful if you want to be comfortable. You have to be uncomfortable if you want to succeed. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to put in the work even when you don't want to. And it's going to suck, dude. It really sucks. I've had some incredibly hard days where I've wanted to quit so many times. All I wanted to do was just live life like a normal person. And sometimes you'll think to yourself, why did I even start this? Like, it would be so much easier if I just went back to, being complacent and just living life on autopilot. But you don't remember why you started, bro. You literally started to get out of that life, to escape that mess. And now you want to go back. Now you want to go backwards. Why? You're just going to realize it here in a few months when you go back to being comfortable. You're going to be in the exact same position as you were all those years, all those months that just go by when you do nothing and nothing and nothing. Nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes, bro. In order to become this new version of yourself, in order to achieve the life that you want, you have to sacrifice your old identity. You have to sacrifice your old life to get to where you want to be. And it really sucks. It's the worst thing in the world. But I promise you, it is so worth it. So worth it. But anyways, I think I've been rambling on enough. I think I got my point across. I really hope this video has changed some lives. I really hope this just, flips a switch in your head, because that's exactly what happened to me when I started. A switch just flipped. It's like I viewed the world from a different perspective. I was no longer a consumer. I was a producer from that day onward, and it has never been the same since. And it sucks to let all that shit go, all the, comfortable, easy things, because, your brain is going to default to those comfortable things. But you need to realize that the sacrifice is always going to be worth it, bro. Every time. All those dreams that you have, all the financial freedom that you want, all the money that you want is going to be there if you sacrifice. So always remember that. Your time will come, bro. You just have to put in the work, and it's going to suck. I know I've said this a million times. It is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but it is so worth it, bro. I promise you. But yeah, I've definitely rambled on a little too long on this video, but I really hope I got my point across. If you guys are looking to change your life, or you want a way to have financial freedom, work from anywhere, and, make the money that you want to make, check out my Instagram. I'm going to link it down in the description. Tons of free content for you guys on how to make money online and things like that. It's exactly what I do to, achieve the wealth that I have. So if you guys want to do something like that, just check out my Instagram. Tons of free value on there. Just DM me if you really want to, or, comment on this video. I'll answer all of them. But yeah, that's really it for me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.